Okay, class, this is how I have been studying for our exam tomorrow. I reorganized the slides starting from the head to the bottom. It makes a little sense to me this way. Your first main nerves is going to be your anterior cerebral artery. All our arteries are going to be red. From the anterior cerebral artery, you have this arch right here. This is our anterior communicating artery. The anterior communicating artery, it comes down, entering into your interior carotid artery on both sides. From the interior carotid artery, it comes outward, coming into middle cerebral artery. So you've got anterior cerebral, anterior communicating, interior carotid, middle cerebral. From there, it comes down. Now we're dealing with the backside, our posterior. So we have our posterior communicating, which is, again, an arch figure. Then that goes down into the posterior cerebral, the big center with the vein, with the arteries coming off of it. This is your basilar artery. I might not be saying that correct. From there, we go down and we have our vertebral artery. The way to remember your vertebral artery is it's going to be the one starting to connect to the vertebrae. If it is in red, that means we are dealing with the arteries. So right here is your superficial temporal artery. If you can remember your bone anatomy, it helps remember where the locations of these are, because this is going to be closest to the temporal area. So this is your superficial temporal artery. You have your occipital artery. Again, it is located where our occipital bone is. You have your maxillary artery, and it is located on the back of our maxillary bone. From there, you have your facial artery. You have your internal carotid. You have your external carotid. You have your carotid sinus. You have your vertebral artery. Underneath your thyroid is your common carotid artery. From there, you have your subclavian artery, which leads to the axillary artery, which starts your brachiocephalic trunk, which is the first tube shoot off of our heart. These are the veins we have to know. Some of these are the same as the artery. They will run side by side. So again, we have our superficial temporal, but this one is blue, so this one is superficial temporal vein. You have your occipital vein. Again, it's located close to the occipital bone. You have your superior ophthalmic vein. Again, it's going to match the bone. You have your facial vein. You have your vertebral vein, the one that runs through the vertebrae. You have your external jugular vein. You also have your internal jugular vein. The internal is usually going to be bigger than the external. This one is much wider, whereas the external is much smaller. These veins, the internal jugular vein runs into the subclavian vein. The subclavian vein is located next to the subclavian artery. You have your axillary vein, which will be next to your axillary artery. You have your brachiocephalic vein, which will be next to the brachiocephalic artery. Arteries are red, veins are blue. Okay. With the heart. I'm going to pause this video and start another video with the heart.